Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Shield Hero, Season 4.
Yep, Shield Hero, Season 4, Episode 2. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. I had a shit weekend, so we're recording on Tuesday. And, well, as good of a mood as my dress-up darling put me in, I really doubt that this is going to do anything for my mood. Because I already saw the freaking thumbnail for the next episode, and Naofumi is standing on that same staircase that he's standing on right over there. So we're probably going to be here in this town that I forgot its name because it's been a rough week again. And but again, the show must go on. Do my best to do what I can for here, but once again, as I mentioned last week, this kind of storyline and politicking is the thing that I loathe the most in anything. Just period. Outside of stuff that, like, just, you know, randomly just makes fun of stuff for no apparent reason and just, you know, is just objectively cruel or whatever. But this kind of politicking, just, I can't stand it. I really can't. I was already in the boat of, why are we doing this? Why aren't we just going straight to the Phoenix thing? So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I got nothing for it, you know what I mean? So, if we're going to be here for multiple episodes, this is going to be worse than Subaru rolling around the floor in ReZero for me. So, we'll just have to see what comes of it. We saw all the politicking that was going on last time. We might get something with, like, the Ala and her brother, the White Tiger Clan stuff. We saw that, like, the lion guy was, like, a dissenter, that kind of thing. Not everybody, like a Shield Hero person out here. So, because again, they worship the idea of the Shield Hero, not, you know, each individual Shield Hero. But if you are the Shield Hero, you just kind of, like, acquire those fans. So it's kind of like, I don't even know what you could compare it to. If you just pulled in like multiple actors who have played the same roles or whatever kind of deal. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna have to suffer through it. Maybe there'll be some reasonable comedy thrown in there. There was reasonable comedy thrown in last week, but it was all overshadowed by the nonsense. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. So I'll again apologize for myself. Once again, PSA, going forward, the link to the timer-based reaction on Patreon will be in the description still for people who can see the description, but because of a certain platform that shall not be named and it's stupid nonsense, I will also be putting it in the first pinned comment. And while that will not be immediate because I can't pin a comment until the video actually becomes public, and I have these all scheduled to come out during the week as the week progresses. So I will pin that comment as soon as I am humanly able, but again, I'm not always awake and or at home when these videos go live. So it'll happen at some point. So hopefully the description links will start working at some point, but the first pinned comment will have the link to the timer-based reaction video link on Patreon. People interested in that, so yeah, it's another stupid problem to have. I mentioned that yesterday, so anyway, I'm not really excited for this, to be perfectly honest, but we're doing it anyway. So we're going to push some buttons, set up the timer-based stuff here, and if you're on YouTube, we will see you immediately on the other side of this edit for the review and discussion. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then. Bust out that Archer quote of, hey, does this look as bad as it looks? Though to be fair, that girl was underage in Archer, and, you know. So to be fair, I guess that whole thing with what's her name from Archer, the German heiress of that company, they had that whole Alabama of Europe quote. It's like the consent was 16, so you know, she was 17, so technically it wasn't illegal. But yeah, the the queen did warn him about this, and this had the whole Kazuma from Konosuba being chased by the like orc women vibe.
Yeah.
So it was reasonably comical. You had to assume that when the water starts turning red, that there is treachery afoot, and well, it was an aphrodisiac. So I guess they think very little of the shield hero and his capability of defensive magic. Just saying. So maybe it worked on previous shield heroes. Who knows? But
yeah, we don't really know how Naofumi matches up to previous shield heroes capabilities wise. It seems like he's stronger than the previous ones because of just how, negatively the world views the shield hero as being useless and whatnot.
Yep.
It's basically just the demi-humans that like the shield hero.
Yep. So as we saw during the sequence here too as well was Rafi is able to call Raftalia to her whenever she wants, and so that's something Age mentioned before we got started there. So that was a thing.
Yeah. Once again, she's a Shikigami, which is basically Naofumi's familiar, and she's made out of Raftalia's hair.
Yep.
So she has a direct connection to Raftalia.
Yep. So the only thing that was kind of what was it that they blocked his teleportation magic? This room did somehow?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Maybe it was the aphrodisiac. Something that involved this room, this bathhouse, blocked him from using his teleportation magic, and they had to use the chant-based spell that it's kind of like a genjutsu basically that he had to use on them. So
yeah, he doesn't pick what they see; they just see something that they want to see.
Yep. Which led to the the hilarious does this look as bad as it looks? Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. You know what I mean? But I'm not controlling what they see. So at least there was some comedy in here. But this whole politicking stuff again, as I mentioned at the end of the reaction bit there, it still weighs on me. It still bothers me. It aggravates me because I've been in situations like this. Obviously, I'm not like a head of a state or anything, but you have it like when you're being handled. You know what I mean? And you can't just you're supposed to be like not necessarily like a guest of honor, but like somebody that's not supposed to be handled or told what they can and can't do, whatever, that kind of thing in certain situations. And it's just like, wasn't I the one supposed to be in charge of this? And you're just telling me what I can and can't do. So why am I even, at the head of this table, basically? So it just, those situations just aggravate me, but it is what it is. We had this comedy right here. I mean, using Rafi as a hat. Why not? There's a bunch of like random just background Rafi nonsense, like her and it like being draped in the towel after the bathhouse incident, all that stuff. So at least there was some background comedy going on in all the politicking to kind of de-aggravate me. It wasn't as bad as last week, but man, that bird guy, just you want to punch him in the face. You know what I mean? It's like Naofumi points out, like in that one meeting that he went to, it's like, I don't mind like coming over here and hanging out and like being like the icon every once in a while once the waves are dealt with and like the world is no longer in peril kind of deal. That'd be fine. But can you guys just get me the boat so I can deal with what I need to and get back to saving the world when the Phoenix shows up? Just, I mean, are we really playing politic games right now when the world's in danger? So that's just the kind of nonsense. Everybody has, their own like agenda and stuff like that. Same thing with the lion guy. We got that stuff with like what happened with Full and Atlas' parents, that kind of deal. This other white tiger demi-human here that do their parents and stuff like that. So we got a little bit more on them and why we still don't exactly know why the white tigers are like looked down upon in Siltfelt. So
yeah, we never really got the actual history to them. We just know that, Full and Atla were sold into slavery after their parents died. And the whole thing of the white tigers having their like innate skill to learn things significantly faster than other races.
Right. But as we saw, like at the restaurant in town, like they weren't even given the complimentary water, though they did serve them. Think about the logistics of that. You're not going to give them the complimentary free water, but you will serve them. I guess to be fair, the complimentary water is usually on the house, so that's seen as like a kindness. Whereas if you ordered food, you paid for a service, so you kind of have to serve them if they paid money. But still, it's kind of one of those like, hold on, does that make any sense? It's like that next level of petty. It's kind of like, you know, you walk up and untie somebody's shoes right before a race starts or something. It's like, really? Just come on. It's so random. It's like, oh man, you know, I took off the valve stem cover on your race car's tire, so you're gonna slowly lose air as opposed to just, you know, slashing the tire. You know what I mean? It's that like it's like the paper cut level of petty. It's absolutely insane to me. It's just those little details that you look at him and you go, what was the point of that? You could have just kicked him out of the restaurant if you have such a problem with them. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, but they're paying customers, so we'll happily take their money. But the only way we can possibly protest them being around is like not giving them the complimentary water. Can't we like spit in their eggs? You know, the classic. I don't know.
Snicker maniacally behind their back.
I mean, that's basically what everybody in town was doing, which that whole thing with Atla, just be like, brother, you have to ignore it. It's like, you don't have to see them, okay? I have to see everybody looking at me. While she could probably hear what people are saying and all that stuff, seeing the faces being made and stuff like that is like far more distressing than just like hearing somebody talking shit about you in the distance or whispering about you know, constantly. So, I mean, she can tune it out, obviously, because she doesn't have sight, but, you know, generally speaking, she could just go full Toph, and, you know, she could arguably have better sense of anything, direction, just combat than people that can see. And she's literally a prodigy, so we saw that last season. She took to combat like a fish to water, basically. So she's the prodigy, and the brother's the one that had... She's Goku, and the brother's Vegeta. That's the best way to put it.
Well, yeah, once again, the whole thing with the White Tigers is they're just innately better at learning skills as one of their, like, racial traits. But, like, even between the two of them, she's even better than Full is at learning, at picking up new things, especially when it comes to combat.
Yep. So, one thing I will say, I'm glad they're keeping, like, the HUD stuff for Naofumi. Like when he's looking at stuff, like you can see his like party menu, and like when he looked at the shield, it broke down the stats and stuff like that. I'm glad that's still a thing if we're gonna like talk about stuff that I did like about it. You know what I mean? From the objective standpoint, I'm glad they're still doing that. That to me is very important to the show, those kinds of things, because he was the guy that, you remember the other heroes that just went and got the lightning skills and moved on with their day. Naofumi put in a lot of effort, and just, it's like, what happens when I put this into the shield? What happens when I put this into the shield? You know what I mean? You have to try everything to see what works. So that Lionheart shield, or whatever you want to call it, definitely seemed like it had something fairly interesting that he could make use of. So let's not forget that sequence of him like looking at that shield and seeing what it could do. So I don't know if he could just like scan it now, like if that was him counting as scanning it, because we saw him having to like put like the things into the shield, and the shield would like deconstruct it to like understand what it was about. But didn't he learn like the Shikigami shield by just like scanning the stuff in the other world or whatever?
In the past, he always had to like sacrifice a piece of something in order to actually gain the abilities of it, with the exception of a few of the like more god level shields, like the Turtle Shield or the Berserker Shield.
Right. So don't be surprised if Naofumi shows up with the abilities from that shield. We heard Beast Transformation. part of it. There was a couple other things that seemed useful that shield had. So
It was beast transformation and territory control.
yep. So that should be important. But either way, this is going to be the still of the episode, you guys, right here. This is how I feel about this whole sequence. This is me internally watching this. Well, there has been some comedy and some good stuff. I don't care. You know when you get like a side storyline? They're doing that in ZZZ right now. There's so much needless exposition in these random side events that's just like you start skipping through it, and it's almost like there's more exposition when you start skipping through it. You guys ever had that when you're just not interested in something and you start just hitting the spacebar or whatever the skip key is when they don't have like a skip dialogue option for everything, and you're just like, all right, okay, there was like 8 more paragraphs. I'm still going through dialogue. That's where I've been with ZZD recently, where I'm just like, why? And in all their text bubbles, it's like full on paragraphs, not just like, somebody saying 1 or 2 sentences. I'm sitting there going, this isn't the main story. What are we doing? Like, none of this matters. Why is there so much random dialogue about this random nonsense? Also, we just hit 12 minutes, and if this is the initial frame of the episode, that'd be friggin' hilarious. Like when the Crunchyroll player resets and it just like shows like a random just frame from the episode. I'm pretty sure that's where we're at, because we hit 12 minutes and my screen flickered. So
the play button is in the middle of the screen.
The play button is in the middle of the screen, so that means that's usually not how it is. You guys can see the play button flashing right there. So that's hilarious that I was on the frame that they use. So take that. Suck on that, Crunchyroll. I beat you to resetting. How about that? Yeah, they know.
You said D's.
Exactly. Maybe I can get some Haagen-Dazs. I haven't had ice cream in a while. I haven't had ice cream since last year. But anyway, again, this is just going to be my resting state until we get the hell out of freaking Cutenlo here or whatever. Siltfelt, sorry. Cutenlo is the place they're trying to get to, and they're in Siltfelt. Oh my god.
I imagine this will probably be resolved by episode 4. Like, we'll be leaving Siltfelt by episode 4. And then the Cutenlo itself will probably be another 3 or 4 episodes.
Right. So, either way, my suffering continues. But, Naofumi had a plan with the poisoning stuff, so props to him. It's kind of like punching somebody in the face. It's sort of like punching somebody in the face, right?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty damn sure that it was Naofumi who poisoned the food. And he's just playing them against each other because he knows that neither of them would suspect him.
Right. They just kind of showed that as like a, like he was confirming that all the food was poisoned. So, either way, other than the politicking stuff, like I said, there was some good hilarity. The fact that they brought up the harem stuff again, that was hilarious.
When I was looking stuff up to see like where we were in the source material, there was a whole chapter named harem, so I knew it was coming at some point.
Nice. Not the kind of harem you'd expect, but it is what it is. Keeping up with the heads up display for Naofumi, stuff like that, seeing the party screen, their statistics, stuff like that. That's still important. I'm glad they're keeping that going. So, other than that, I'm excited to see what Atla has to say about all the madness.
Yeah, they maintain the continuity of the fact that he's still cursed and missing like 20% of his stats on the HUD.
Yep.
Because once again, he only managed to get rid of they got rid of Roctali's in the other world, and then they inadvertently got rid of Thelos with the whole dragon thing.
Yep. So that's
he himself is still cursed.
Yep. Still lingering on him. So it's good that they're keeping that up, because if they hand waved that off screen, that would make zero sense to me, because it's kind of a big plot point that they're freaking cursed.
Yeah, I doubt that they would actually hand wave it entirely. I was just more commenting about the fact that even in that brief bit where we saw the HUD, like they were maintaining the continuity of remembering to show that he's still cursed on his stats.
Yep. So, either way, I'm excited to see what the blind girl has to say. You know, once again, when the blind girl says she's seen enough, you know it's over.
And she's also Naofumi's #1 fan.
Right. Did you guys catch that freaking bit in the bathhouse where she was pissed that they beat her to it? Such a random throwaway line that you might not notice, but it was there. In case you forgot, she kept trying to climb into Naofumi's bed every night. That was a thing.
Yeah, and then her whole thing about like seeing the statue of the shield hero and commenting how at least they know how to treat Naofumi with the proper respect.
Right? So that's going to continue being a thing, I'm sure. But things out of this area that I'm most interested in is, why the hell is there so much prejudice against the White Tigers? You know what I mean? To me, that they seem like a fairly big deal race when it comes to certain things. So something had to have occurred with the Lion guy or whatever that happened with Full and Atlas family. Potentially could have been the whole thing, like classic like false flag operation. Like, I did this, but no, they did this, and they took all the blame and the shame and, you know, ridicule and whatnot. So that's the main thing that interests me out of this whole situation, outside of getting on the boat and getting the hell out of here. So that's where I'm at. Pretty much. Full on just Bender, let's go already. So anyway, I'll make it. You know, as long as it's not half the season, I'll make it. I don't think that's what it's going to be. So awesome. But anything else, Age?
Yeah, I don't know. This poison thing, it's either Naofumi playing them against each other, or it is the Lion guy, because once again, Naofumi does make that like comment of like, oh, he's playing ignorant. But we don't really know exactly what he actually meant by that. It could be a thing of like, he knows it's the Lion guy, or it could be a thing of he did it, but Naofumi did it, but that he's commenting on like him playing ignorant about something else.
Right. So either way, so we got for this week. So ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube beyond, have you watching. We always appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. And this was Shield Hero Season 4, Episode 2. And this is just how I'm going to be till next week. And probably through next week. Until we get the hell out of this town. So have a good morning, evening, afternoon. Whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.